You might not think it, but the most effective Etsy strategies are usually the most straightforward and, yeah, even boring. Back when I was a management consultant, a big part of my day-to-day was to help companies find new ways to get more sales. And guess what? Many of the strategies that some of those big companies use are also things that we can use in our Etsy shops. And the weird thing is that I don't see a lot of Etsy sellers using them right now. So in this video, we're going to dive into 4 practical strategies that you can use today to start boosting your Etsy sales. One of my go-to shops for buying gifts has always been the Body Shop. What I really like about this cosmetics shop is that, yeah, they obviously sell individual items, but they also sell gift sets or product bundles. And they make the perfect gift, right? Because it'll include a bundle of different complementary products. So for example, a shower gel, a hand cream, and a body lotion, all in the same coconut scent. And usually it'll be a tad cheaper than if you were to buy all of the products individually. It's convenient and great for me as a customer, but also for the company itself. And why? Because it naturally results in them selling more product. In fact, buyer psychology shows that by wrapping products and services into bundles, you entice customers to spend more. So, strategy 1 is to create product bundles in your Etsy shop. You still sell all of your items individually, but then you create new listings where you combine some complementary products together. But this doesn't mean you should now just go out and start putting random products together into bundles. You need to put yourself in your target audience's shoes and have a think about what they'd be interested in buying. What items complement each other very nicely? So for example, let's say I run a pet-themed kitchen accessory Etsy shop, and one of my most popular items is this doggy patterned kitchen apron. Maybe I could create a bundle that includes this, but then also an oven mitt with the same pattern on it. Someone that stumbles onto my popular dog apron may see that bundle and think, ooh, that actually makes a very good gift. I might as well get both of them together. It means the customer leaves happy and you've just made an additional sale. And then there's another strategy that a lot of e-commerce businesses use in particular. Not long ago, I was on the Chubbies website looking for a new pair of bathing shorts for myself. And when I added an item to my cart, a little recommended for you box popped up with a couple of additional products that I might be interested in. This is a form of something called cross-selling, which is the idea of offering customers other products that are compatible with what they're already planning on buying. Product bundling is actually also a form of cross-selling, but the way it works is just slightly different here. Now, sadly, as of me recording this video, Etsy doesn't give us the opportunity to cross-sell exactly like Chubbies is doing, so we can't add a little pop-up in the cart, for example. But there is a workaround that you can use to start bringing this strategy to life in your Etsy shop. Before we dive into that, if you feel like you're learning something so far, I would love it if you click the little thumbs up below to support me and my YouTube channel. And if you haven't already, I post weekly videos about Etsy. I would love to have you along for the ride, so feel free to subscribe. So our strategy for our Etsy shop, what we're going to do is we're going to create a brand new photo card for all of our listings. And this is going to be the equivalent of our recommended for you button. And there are 2 types of these photo cards that we can create. There's either the good but lazy option, and then there's the better option. Let's go through both of them together. So the lazier option is to call the card something like looking for more, and then add a prompt to discover the full collection of fun pet-themed kitchen accessories in my shop. And then you basically add photos of your best sellers and make it a mix of different product types. What this means is that when the customer is on one of your specific listings and starts going through all of the photos, they'll eventually stumble upon that and see that there may be other pet-themed kitchen accessories waiting for them in my shop. So if that's something they're interested in, it will encourage them to go and check out my store. And the non-lazy and frankly better way of doing this is to create individual photo cards for each of your listings. We could call this one something like other items you might like, and then add photos of listings that we think could complement that specific product well. So as you can see here, if we use our doggy kitchen apron example, we could showcase the similar mitt or anything else with that same pattern on it. Again, this type of photo card obviously takes a little bit more work because you have to do them individually for each listing, but it does make the recommendation and the call to action a lot more specific and ultimately more effective. The lazier option does take a lot less time because ultimately you just have to create one card and add it to all of your listings, and it does still work quite well. So have a play around with it and see what works best for you. And to take this even a step further, we can add a link to our shop or even to a specific section or listing in the listing description. The idea behind this being that we're trying to make it as easy and seamless as an experience for that customer to find the different products that we want to cross-sell for them. Listen, big brands look at all sorts of data, but one of the biggest focus points for them when it comes to data is often the customer retention rate. Customer retention is basically a company's ability to turn a customer into a repeat buyer. The reason why they look at this in so much detail is because it generally is a lot easier to sell to someone who already has bought from you in the past versus someone that hasn't. And actually the research backs this as well. And it makes sense, right? If a customer buys something from you and they like it, you now have their trust. They know who you are now and probably will be more willing to come back to you over a competitor in the future. And there are different things that we can do to feed off of this customer loyalty, but there's actually one very simple thing that we can do in Etsy, and it can be really powerful. And that is to add a thank you card to your customer's package. And as you can guess from the name, this is basically just a small note or a small card that you're adding to your customer's orders. It's a nice little touch that can go a really long way when it comes to making a lasting impression. And the good news is that you don't need to reinvent the wheel here. Keep it simple. But this thank you card is also a great opportunity to encourage those customers to come back to your shop in the future. So I'd recommend that you create a special discount code for those thank you cards and slap them on the cards. Imagine this from the customer's perspective, right? They're excited to get your package, they open it up not only to find a great product, but also a lovely little thank you card with a special little discount code for them. Now they might not use that discount code right away, but a lot of them will actually keep it in their back pocket ready to be used in case they need to make any similar future purchases. And how can you do this? Well, if you're a handmade seller, this is fairly simple and easy to do, as you'll most likely be shipping everything out yourself. If you're doing print on demand, the good news is that providers such as Printify and Printful do give you the option to add thank you cards to a lot of their products. If you want to learn more about those in particular, there's links down below in the description. When companies first start out, they usually start laying the foundations of their businesses in the areas that they live in. Walmart opened its first store in Arkansas. DoorDash started off just delivering food to students at Stanford. But once they'd established themselves a bit, they started to broaden their reach and expand into different regions. And that makes sense as well, right? There's only so many potential customers in your region. Etsy is a global marketplace. Yeah, customers from the US definitely make up the biggest share of traffic on Etsy, but could you guess what percentage? It's actually only around 55% of the total Etsy traffic that comes from the US. That means that 45% comes from countries all around the world. So if you're limiting yourself to only selling to customers in your specified region, you could be missing out on lots of sales. This is why my fourth strategy is to expand internationally. And making the actual change in Etsy itself is fairly easy. The idea is that you just need to adjust your shipping profiles to reflect the different regions that you now want to sell in. That way, your products will start showing up in those countries' searches as well. But there are a couple of things you do need to consider. And first is the logistics. Trying to ship internationally comes with, longer wait times, higher shipping costs, and, sometimes other taxes and customs that need to be taken care of. It definitely is a bit more work and effort on your end as well, but I've seen a lot of sellers do this very successfully and seen an increase in their sales. And another thing for you to consider is how suitable your product actually is for an international market. For example, if you're based in the US and you're selling specifically 4th of July t-shirts, you're probably not going to have that many people that are interested in those shirts anywhere else other than the US, because it's not a holiday anywhere else. Opening up your Etsy shop to global marketplaces can definitely be lucrative, but there's just some different things that you need to take into account, such as what we've just talked about. If you'd like to learn even more about how you can start optimizing your store for a global audience, then I would encourage you to go and check this video out next, where we'll talk about this in a lot more detail. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.